Hello, everyone. So this is the second game in the 5Q series. I hope you enjoy it. Like and subscribe, and it will help me know which series you like best so I can try to make more of those. And let's get started. Okay, so I am white. There's a cross opening. You can approach either corner. Any of them should work. You can also consider enclosing one of his, but normally approaching a 3-4 is higher priority. Okay, so he goes this one. He has some influence here, so I'll try to negate that with a fourth line move of my own. He goes here. There's some weaknesses here later. This corner's fine. He can go into the corner or extend. And I don't want him developing both sides with high stones, so I'll approach here. I think they call it, if he plays over here, double wing formation. Okay, so he tries to take this one, so I'll go ahead and make an extension. There's still some weaknesses here. Okay, so he might be a little jealous of my area, so he's trying to invade it right away. So my main goal is just to try and keep my stones connected. He goes here. So he could wedge here. If I just Atari, he goes here, I connect. If I Atari, he counters Atari's, I capture, he goes here. I can still pretty much connect under. And he gave me a lot to do that. Even if he cuts off one or two, that would be okay. He can Hane on this side. And I could just cut here, he Ataris, I go here. And then he has to connect. Let me see. Okay, so Hane, cut, Atari here, connect here. He could push here, but I feel like that fight would be bad for him. And these are easy to get rid of. So while it might be big to play here, an opening, an enclosure, or an approach is much bigger. And he's also building this side, so I think since he ignored this, I'll just double approach. Okay, so he tries to do that right away. Oh, he goes that way. This way is definitely bad, because when I connect here, I can Atari or capture this way. And him connecting under, like this group was 100% alive, there was no need to worry. Even this one, I can't push through and cut. So he pretty much gave me Sente here and gave me better shape here. And he didn't get that many points. So normally if your opponent Tanukis a double approach to a 4-4, you just surround it like this. Okay, he goes here. So this one's again is very slow. It doesn't affect my group at all. It's not really giving him any points. So since I feel like I'm pretty far ahead, there is cutting points here, and he has some nearby stones. I'm just going to go ahead and protect against those cuts and make sure I'm connected. He goes here. So if I go here, he can connect under. That's not that big of a deal, because again, if he just kind of pushes here, he's only making like a few points while I'm getting a nice influence. So there's this cut here to where if he Ataris here, I am separated. So I'm going to go ahead and just capture, make sure it's nice and connected. So he's going to try and live here. So again, my main focus shouldn't be killing, but making sure the outside is nice and I don't get into trouble. So I'm just going to block him from doing that. If I Atari here, I'm getting rid of the weaknesses here. And if I connect here and he tries to cut, I have the Atari anyway. So it's better to leave the weakness in the corner. Okay, so he goes here. So I can't really develop on this side. So maybe I can consider peeping here, but if he pushes out and crawls, it should still be okay for me. Because even if he lives here, I don't want to make it too easy for him, so I'll peep to try and reduce his eye shape, and then I'll go ahead and block here. Okay, so now there's this move here to capture the 2 stones. Okay, so I probably could have killed that, but again, I feel like trying to kill is a mistake unless you can read it out 100%. So it's much better to try and just make sure your outside is as strong as possible. I do have a cutting point here, but if I Hane here, there's really not much he can do. So it seems like the biggest move would be closing my corner here. Okay, so again, he plays a small move here. I think he was already alive, but I guess there was some Aji. If I went here, he goes down. I can cut here, but I think he just captures me first. Okay, so now the biggest move would be approaching here. As you can see, I'm growing this entire area. Okay, so he peeps. Now he tries to cut. And just Atari. I have a cutting point, so I want to make sure it's as strong as possible. Okay, so he invades. Normally you don't want to invade like this, because it's not really directly cutting anything. So I could Tanuki, and then if he cuts, I can still capture. So I think I'll just take his base away. So now, yeah, the best he could do locally would be something like this. I defend, and then all he can do is run out. He's trying to cut me off here, so I will just connect. Okay, so he's trying to build points over here, but at the moment this is very small. So the biggest area is definitely building up here. And I don't have any weak groups. This is very strong. Uh, if I go this way, he runs out and I'm kind of losing some stuff in the center here. So I think I'm just going to press down on him this way so I can take this area. He invades my corner. Trying to kill is possible because I have a big area here, but it's probably easier just to let him live in the corner. Okay, so I can block here. And then his corner still has some trouble. Normally, if you push here, you have to play the Hane, because if you don't, it leaves like the monkey jump and stuff like this. But since he still needs to defend here, and I have some cutting points, I'll defend my cutting points, and then if he defends, then I have Sente to try and cut this off, which is very big. He tries to cut anyway. This is very strong, so I'll Atari from the weaker side. And extend, because if he turns here, there's a Atari, then he can capture this stone or the 2 stones. And I'll push one more time, because this would be Hane at the head of 3 stones. He jumps here, so I'll throw in, because same reason he has this Atari he has to worry about. He defends. Okay, so now this group got stronger, and now this is the weaker group. So now we got to switch to the other side. And I can jump here, I can peep, and I can probably even get away with 2 spaces here. But I think this is the most effective, because I'm threatening to cut off these stones. And when I extend here, I'm developing this side in a much bigger way. Okay, so he has this group, and this stone is cutting him off from this one. So I want to cut off this group as well. So I can play the Kasumi, which is very solid. I can play this one, but it gives him some forcing moves. I can play this one, but there's a cutting point. So I think I'll just play the Kasumi to cut it off as strongly as possible with no weaknesses. This group is still strong. This one is still kind of weak. So I think I'll just jump this way, making this one stronger, forcing him to run out, and kind of surrounding this one on a large scale. Okay, so this one is starting to look like the weaker group again. Probably no chance of it dying, but I want to play on the weaker side. So I think I will just surround this stone while also connecting my two groups together. So he tries to cut here. I can just cut it. And if he goes here, I just capture. He goes there. Again, got to connect, make sure all my groups are connected. So he's going to try and live here. So this doesn't have two eyes yet, but because this is weak and it can run out, and I'm strong over here, it should be okay. So my focus is not going to be profit, but just to make, or it's not going to be to kill, but it's to make profit. So here is reducing eye shape while also making the corner bigger. So he has two groups. I need to make sure that they stay connected. So if I go here, he can Atari here, and then he has to connect in some way. If I go here, he pushes, I connect, and there's still this cut. But because the corner is very weak, I think I can either get out or capture the corner. Okay, so he tries to run out. So I still have this weakness here. So I'm just going to go ahead and fix it while Ataring the stone. Because if I don't, later on he might play here, threatening the cut, and then he can try and live here. Okay, if I go here, he goes here, I go here, and everything should be okay. If I go here, he gets out, which I get the corner and everything's fine, but I want to go for what gets me the most profit. Okay, extend down, and he shouldn't be able to live here. Okay, so again, he's trying to cut, so I just got to make sure my groups are connected. He goes here. Okay. So he doesn't really have two eyes yet. This group is my weakest group. He has some weaknesses here, so I'm just going to try and make my outside stronger. And I think I can connect like this because I have this Atari. Okay, so this is still not a real eye, and he still doesn't have an eye over here. But I got cutting points, so if he Ataris this way, here he can do a double Atari. So I should connect on one side or the other. And this is the weaker side because this one captured the corner. So I'll defend the weaker side. So he tries to live, and I will reduce his eye shape. He connects. So he can go for this ko. And I don't really want that to happen, so I'll defend. And I can't just let him live here. So I will push here. Normally when you're trying to kill something, you play on the outside first, or you at least check the outside first. And then after that you go to the inside. But here just the outside move I think works. And go ahead and play here. So I believe if I went here or I Haned here, he could Atari, connect here, here, here. And then I think he has two eyes, because when I go here, he could have blocked. And then he has an eye here and here, unless I misread. Again, my reading isn't that good. Okay, so I'll just cut this off. Connect my stones. Okay, so he's trying to live in the corner now. Just make sure he's surrounded. I have some weaknesses here, so I'll just go ahead and defend those. So now the weak point of this one is normally these two. So normally you look at these first. So if I go here, he has to block the connection. So if he Hanes, I turn here. He goes here, I get rid of this eye. So I think that works. If I were to try this one, he plays here, I go here, and it still looks like it's dead. But this one seems simpler. Okay, and then prevent the eye in the corner. Okay, make sure I'm nice and connected. It also makes me some points here. The Ataris, but the cut doesn't really work. Okay, he goes here. So sometimes this works, but I can just Atari it this way. And if he connects, I connect. But here I think I could even Atari here. And just, if he goes down, I capture these. So that should be okay. So I'll get rid of the his potential eye there. And I'll just capture these. He goes here. So that makes it a little bit simpler because now I just capture. The throw in and stuff like that doesn't really do anything. And just Atari. Okay, so now I have Sente. So normally when you get Sente in the middle game, you want to look at weak groups first. So this is all connected. I'm strong. This group is mostly connected. There's maybe some Aji here, but it doesn't seem too important. Black has this weak group here, which is pretty obvious. And there's some invasion over here. But the main point is probably here. And I want to profit with my influence over here. So I'm going to try and attack it in this direction. Because again, when you attack, you want to assume that it lives. So you want to make sure all your groups are alive, and you're going for the area with the most profit if it does live. Because if you try to kill and fail, it can cost you the game. Again, just make sure I'm nice and connected. So I can go here, but there's some cutting points. This is very strong, so I'll extend once. And again, look at the profit over here. And I can keep extending. And keep extending. And in this situation, I think unfortunately this is just dead. Because yeah, he can't really cut me off anywhere. And I don't think he's able to connect. And even if he does cut me off, I think I'm pretty safe everywhere. And here, if he cuts me off here, there's a chance something could happen. So I can connect here, and if he pushes through and cut, this is alive and this is alive. And he's making this area a bit weaker. Okay, so just stop him from getting out. And keep my stones connected. Okay, so he goes here. It's not too helpful. He can like aim at this, but I just block. He tries to cut, I could just capture. So I think he just gave me a point here, so I'm gonna Tanuki. So cutting points doesn't really matter, so I'll just block the center. Almost lost by time. Okay, so he cuts this off, but I should be pretty much alive. Okay, so just block here. And if he ignores, I can throw in here and capture. So I have one eye here if I need to. So I think I'll just play here. And if he tries to Hane or something, I can Atari. And then if he extends, I Atari. If he connects, I capture all of it. And that's not Sensei, so this is always there. So I can go ahead and defend my center. He tries to cut me off, but I can just capture. Okay, he goes here, so if he goes here, it's not that big. He's capturing this, I just connect, and it has no effect on this group. So the biggest area is probably still at the bottom here, and I think I'll just capture this one. He goes here, but again, if I just connect here, he can Atari, I connect, but it doesn't really do much. Okay, he throws in. So it does look like there is some potential liberty issues, but I have this open. Okay, and he resigned. Okay, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe if you do, so I can know which videos you guys like, and I can try to make more of what gets likes. And yep, see you all next time.